Live. There you go. We're back.
All right, all right. Who's doing the intro? You or me?
You can do it. We can do it. We're waiting for. I'm actually waiting to see who pops up here. I don't know if we should have just gone straight Facebook. I want to say that maybe the logarithm messes it up, or if you use this kind of thing, or Facebook doesn't pick it up as much, or I don't know.
You got multi platforms, right? That you're sharing
Yeah.
it on.
See, and that's the thing. So I don't know if maybe Facebook should be the main one, and then after that, edit and post everywhere else. But you see, you can't do that with, let's say, Twitch. You can't do that with TikTok. It's just the live and go.
Oh, okay.
So that's the thing. But we got a few people joining on. I asked a few of them that were watching the live I was doing to if they could give us a couple of minutes just to coordinate, and hopefully some of them did.
All
And
right.
we're back for round three. You want to take it off?
Sure, sure. Round three. Here we go. This is the RuizBeast podcast. I am your guest host, Ruben Camarillo here from Now You Know Eagle Pass. How you doing today, Isaac? I know I got that text. I'm like, all right, we're ready to go, man. What's going on?
Uh, I mean, and I think that that's how I operate normally with any podcast that I do. It's kind of a lot of people might think that, I'm methodical and planning and yes, I am. But when it comes to podcasts, I've always felt, and here's the thing with that, and I'm not going to call out names or anything like that. To me, I think a scripted podcast is nothing more than a show.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, and I'm not talking down about having like a list of questions or anything like it. That's okay. But I'm not going to say anybody specific because I mean, I can't even think of an example. But if you go and see different types of podcasts, what they're done, what they're doing, a lot of them are scripted. There are certain things they can't go to, won't go to, and and that's one thing that I kind of pride myself is that, to me, it's like if you keep up to date and keep up with what you need to keep up with, you never have to catch up,
right.
right? So
I get
me,
it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
I mean, me, I'm a general type of person. I know it kind of looks like I'm ultra politic this and that, but that's just what piques my interest at the time. I mean, it's eye opening what's going on right now. So that's one of the things that's there. That's like I said, that is I hope is appreciated by the people that do view. Is that I don't have anything in front of me, and Ruben can ask you this. I mean, I'm being interviewed here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ruben never asked, what do I lay off of? Can I this or I never even asked them, hey, Ruben, I don't want to talk about this, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. I may have been a little bit less detailed about certain things, which, like I said, we don't want to get petty with it, so there's no reason to. But it is what it is, right? I mean, it's different being on the other side, but it still kind of feels the same, being that this is one type of way, and I think all human beings yearn for a way to express themselves in a
Absolutely.
manner where they feel they are being heard. Whether I'm being heard, whether I'm being or not, I don't know yet. I think it's too early in what I'm doing here with this to predict that, and yeah, I think I answered more than your question on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a natural thing. I mean, I really haven't been podcasting for too long, but you watch others and then you see how everybody performs and how everybody does things, and like you said, that when it's scripted. There are pros and cons when you have a script, and normally when there's a script, because I've done one before and I tried and I kind of experimented. and when you have a script, it kind of gets you set on the topics that you have. It kind of keeps you from, kind of lingering away from the topic.
Mhm.
But at the other hand, it's just not very natural. I think it takes a really a good. It takes some skill to be able to interview live and to know what topics to hit or what questions to ask. Like for example, I could have gone really deep in with some questions for part two, like when it came to, the state rep and everything. I
Mhm.
could have gone really detailed, but I know when something's a sensitive subject and there's just a time where you just can't cross that line, and I'm not gonna I mean, I know I'm your guest on your podcast, but it's like you're my guest because I'm interviewing you. I'm not gonna make my guests feel uncomfortable,
No, no,
you
no.
know?
Now, to me, I mean, I appreciate that perspective, but uh, I'm on the other side on that fence is that I think you need to make me uncomfortable a little bit. I think you absolutely need that,
Yeah.
and it's not to poke at anybody or to you know um, make them look bad, but I think it's very telling on a person, and I'm not trying to bring it up in a negative sense type of way. I mean,
Right.
some people are born to handle things on the fly, and others aren't. And when I'll refer this to what most people know me as is the political type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I can see how they flock away because of certain questions, and that there are some that are not. That regardless of what I said about him. And one thing I do want to say, Billy Davis, we were critical, and we gave him an interview right after that, and that was that. You
Yeah.
get what
Yeah.
I'm saying, and that was that. And I think that sometimes we carry political vengeance and political, and I'm not gonna say try to be on a high horse, and I'm not I was never a part of that, or I never got, I think given the situations that I've been through, most people would have acted either the way I did, or maybe a little bit more extreme, depending on the person. But by no means, I mean, don't try to make me uncomfortable. I don't want that, or comfortable. I don't want you to make me comfortable. What I would like is for you to give the people what they want to know, or give them good content.
Right.
I mean, I think that's basically what both our goals are. We may have different paths or plans to get there, but the ultimate thing is to give them good content. And I don't mind sweating a little bit out here, man. I mean, I've been, I know you're a veteran. I know you've gone through some stuff, so I'm not about to compare what I have gone through, what you do. But I mean, we can handle a few questions. We've been questioned by, some people, and we can handle ourselves.
Yeah. Of
We,
course.
we, we uh, we pride ourselves that we can take the heat a little bit. We can be uncomfortable. That's where
Absolutely.
growth, that's where growth comes, man. Growth
Yeah.
comes from being uncomfortable. Let's just be honest about that.
Of course. And like, and the key word is it depends on the person.
Mhm.
Because I know that if I was interviewing, let's just say, I don't know, just for example, the mayor, I know I couldn't delve deep into questions like I could with you because we're already kind of at that level where I can ask you those kinds of questions. Because you and I are built differently. But when you're a politician and there's certain things that you can't talk about, well, I understand. But I guess that's where pre setting comes into play when you're interviewing, like, certain individuals or public figures. I know a couple of people that I've interviewed, and it's okay. I definitely understand when I talk to them, like, okay, yeah, sure, I'd love to interview, but please, no talking about politics. Okay, got it. And that's it. Um, and that's just a certain respect that I would give them. But hey, like you said, it depends on the person, and as we were talking about, script wise, I tried that, and it just, I feel like when I do a script, I'm just like, shit, I should have put this in there, or I should have said this, or it's just that drives me nuts.
An
Now,
outline is good. An outline is good.
oh
Just kind
yeah,
of
absolutely,
organized. Yeah, I, I
absolutely,
I did a lot of organizing and outlining when I first started. Now we first started when it was the Rising Texan. I don't know if you had a chance to catch whenever that was going through what it was going through, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the Rising Texan. I mean, let's call it what it is. Was a much more popular theme or persona or whatever you call it. I mean, I don't want to call it a persona because that's exactly who the fuck I am, right? But I mean, um, we've taken a dip since then, and 6, 7 Facebook pages knocked down later, we finally figure out or make one last, and domains run out. The Maverick Times, we start rolling that out and everything. But one of the things that I was having a discussion to today, and it's not to throw any shade, any you know, it's nothing to throw anything out like that. But I recall about 2 years ago, um, it was coming off of COVID or during COVID, a little bit after COVID. COVID was still going on. This was before the snow fest we had and everything, and
it's a nice way to put it.
yeah, whatever you want to call it, snowmageddon, whatever that we had here in Eagle Pass.
The Winter
And
Wonderland. Yeah,
yeah, and we had one of the news, throughout a website, a blog post of me, and in the blog post basically described what they could get off of Facebook. Vague. There's a way in journalism, which I'm glad I've learned. There's ways that you can talk and get away with things, and then there's ways that you can't and can't get away with things, right?
right.
So this story was made, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was just a trash piece, and I'm not saying about the quality of work, but it was a hit piece, and
Like a shooter, kind of.
yeah, well,
Mhm.
I mean, it was a hit piece trying to make me look bad,
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah.
I think it said unstable, this, that. They got my work history from Facebook of all places, right? Of all places. But and there's no ill feeling because we did things after that as well, right? But the point I'm getting at is to one of those, and you can probably go back to the article. It's probably still there online. They actually say, this failed grant writer, and we'll see how long he'll keep up with doing news or letting the people know what's happening and stuff. And we're in 2023, and
Still here.
hey,
Stick
uh,
that in your pipe and smoke it.
yeah, exactly. And it's not to brag, it's not to boast, it's not any of that. It's just shows because I'm a regular person just like anybody else out here watching. Thank y'all for watching. If you like the
Oh yeah.
content, please share. That helps me out a ton. Facebook is killing me with this logarithm, and they're pushing me down because of some of the stuff we say. But hey, um, you know it is a testament to just being consistent. By no means am I where I want to be or where I envision or where I plan to be, but I would say anybody that wants to do whatever it is they want to do it. Just do it.
Absolutely.
I remember 2 years ago with the Rising Texan the podcast that I used to have, man. I would get so nervous, like anxiety, and I had maybe one or two people come on, man.
Oh yeah.
And I would still, but something in my head said, this is what you need to do at the time, and maybe I didn't take it the way I was supposed to do it, or maybe I veered off one way or the other. That, like I said, I think we're still too soon, and we're still inside the box to look outside of it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, man, I mean, to me, it's kind of like a thing that I would have never thought I was gonna do. I thought my career was, set for something in public service, way I did with the city for 15 years and stuff. Things changed up, and you switch, you adapt, you evolve in anything you do, And we found this little thing that, it's funny that even my children share this same attribute that I do, that we can talk and talk and talk and talk for days. So if you got a special skill, a special attribute, not everybody has that. And I
Right.
would say to everybody out there, identify what yours is. I mean, I don't even know if this is mine, to be honest, but the only way you find out is actually giving it a try. And that's what I really appreciate about you, going, doing this, doing a podcast, because I mean, between what we're doing, radio station, and other people around here, I applaud everybody what you do. Y'all are winning, keep winning. But I will say that there isn't that many people that are doing what we're doing right now in Eagle
Oh
Pass.
yeah.
It speaks a lot, and I think this is only gonna spring more and more people, even more talented people, man. And that's what I want. I've always been the type of person, and that's way any business professional should think, or business owner, is that when you have a business, you know, yeah, of course, you're probably skilled in that business, you're knowledgeable in that business. But my thought would always be that, once I develop my business to a point where I can pay somebody to run it for me, why the hell would I not pay somebody that's smarter or better at it than me? It
Oh yeah.
That just doesn't make any sense. I mean, and that's my opinion. I mean, unfortunately, right now, we've been diving around, we've been delving, we've had wins, we've had losses, but history shows that the winners are those people that do not give up. That's one message that, I don't know where it came from, just felt that it had to get out there. So
Yeah,
it's on.
absolutely. Yeah, man. And you're right. And there's really not that very many of us out here. I mean, there's you, there's me. I believe there's Mr. Rodolfo Banda. He does his own thing. He's pretty good at it. He's got a lot of views, and he does some content here and there, and it's pretty good, very informative. He's interviewed me a couple of times. Very nice guy, man. Awesome guy. When I first met him, and I thanked him for doing this kind of thing, because that's, I mean, who else has the balls to do this? You know what I mean? It's just, well, not just the balls, but you got to have some type of skill then to do something like this. And for me, it's passion. I really, like I said, I love informing the community. I try to learn as much as I can about everybody, and a lot of people aren't going to agree, and some people will like it. And um, that's a great feature to have, and that's something that I actually was going to ask you about. That's one of the topics that we're going to talk about today. Before I do, I just, of course, I want to get out my small business of the day, and I'm actually working on a food review. It is called D&P Snacks and More. Guys, this is a small food truck. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they are the workers. Some of them have worked with the previous restaurant called Flamingos. There was a rumor saying that it was the owners of Flamingos, but it's actually people who actually work there. Great food. They got a big menu. It's out on Rosita Valley Road. You just head on towards the casino, right past. As soon as you pass the casino road, you're gonna make a right on Rosita Valley Road, and it's on your left-hand side. Just be careful with the bumps and the potholes. Pretty good stuff, and you guys will catch my review later. So that is, once again, D&P Snacks and More. You sell burgers, fries, nachos, stuffed jalapenos, you name it, man. It's
Ooh,
pretty good stuff. So head over there when you guys get a chance.
mm,
Alrighty.
that sounds pretty good. Until what
Yeah.
time are you open today?
Uh I think they close. You know what? I didn't get the hours. That's something I should. My wife was like, "Hey, get the hours to them. You gotta check it out." But I believe 6 to 11 today. So they close at 11 o'clock. So if you guys are want to hurry down there before they close, you got a little less than an hour. Check it out. They're pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Friendly service as well. So now on to part three of Enter Isaac Ruiz. I know we talked about some history. We talked about some experiences that you've had with some of our political figures and politicians.
Mhm.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask, and you mentioned the Rising Texan podcast, and before we start, what made you change the podcast name to RuizBeast? Now, I had just caught it, like I believe was this like a month ago when you changed it, or some time ago?
Yeah, we had the Rising Texan podcast. Reason was I think that as again I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, right? I mentioned the evolution of what we're actually trying to do. I know that right now many people may seem or think that, hey, this is just the thing where Isaac's talking out of his ass, saying what he wants, this and that. But again, I get back to the art of war, universal laws. I mean, you don't reveal everything you do. You may leave hints out there for people that are vigilant, but we're putting a little something together. As you know, I mean, if you even check, we have been consolidating into the brand of the RuizBeast brand now instead of the Rising Texan podcast. The Rising Texan podcast brought us a lot of good success, and I think that the Maverick Times is also more so growth from the Rising Texan as far as the news type of thing.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't want to be known by any means that Isaac Reese just the news guy, if that makes any sense. So um, it was, yes, a separation of different types of businesses, but it's also a branding strategic thing that we're working on. I mean, I know you guys think I sleep. I don't. I'm reading. I'm learning how to put a branding company together. I'm seeing how others have done it before me, and we're just replicating. It's a formula. That's what a lot of people don't realize. We tend to, as human beings, creatures of this earth, to kind of look at another person and rather than think, hey, well, they must be doing something right. If you feel that they're, hey, they have a nice car, hey, they have money, hey, they're coming out on these shows, hey, they're doing this, they're doing something right, right?
Yeah, of course.
And our natural instinct comes in and we kind of tend to, oh, fuck that guy, or like, hey, te cree mucho, or whatever. And that's our ego, that's the ego peeking out. And all of us have one. That shit, no one bigger than what I think I have. So
I don't
that
know. You got a lot of trolls, man. A lot of bots.
oh yeah, and shit,
We all
you
do.
you can't troll a troll, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have tried, but shit, I'm a master king at that. So be careful.
Yes,
Be careful.
I've seen some of them. I've seen some of them comment, and you're just shutting them down right away, and then they just don't comment anymore. That's it. It's just like
And it's not
burn.
anything that I enjoy doing. I have so much love for everybody out there, but there's ways to approach things, and I approach things the wrong way probably every damn day, and that's the growth and the testament to the growth of the person and the evolution. So I guess I kind of said a lot, but to answer straight your question, yeah, the Ruiz Beast podcast. is a faction or a fraction, probably a better word, of the bigger picture of what I am trying to work on as a whole. Um, but of course, with anything, Microsoft started off in their garage. Apple started off in their under their mom's house in their garage. And you take it from there, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we have you have your haters and you have the people who love you. And when I was when I started the podcast, I started before I actually started running for city council, and so my wife had to really talk me into like, okay, look, see this? There's comments on your messages or on your posts. Don't respond to them, and I'm just like, "Arr," just you just have that urge to just, and sometimes the urge would break, and you get them in your crosshairs, and you just want to just shut them the hell up, and it works sometimes, but then again, sometimes it doesn't, and then it just becomes a tit for tat, and I guess it just depends, on the resiliency
I
because
mean, man, I'm glad you brought that up. Um, you know, resilience. I like that word that you brought up, and I know I have that word written in a lot of my in my profiles. Because I went by. Whenever you're evolving, you realize that some of the things that may that you were before, maybe you're not at that point, wherever. So you evolve. It's called I don't want to call it maturity, because I think at the age that I am, it's not maturity anymore, right? Maturity is something you do when you go through, 17, 18, 19, maybe all the way through your mid 20s. Um, I don't want to reveal my age, but I'm getting to that big 40 in a couple of years. And the thing is that we're at the point where it's evolution time. There's so much out there that you do not have to focus on necessarily what people tell you, what people try to teach you. I think that there is a strong value in each person having the capability of doing the research on your own, learning on your own. Um, Even though you do have these establishment universities, you do have mentors. Not everybody gets lucky with a good mentor. I will say I did get lucky with that, but I'm looking over here at a comment that Fortes has, and I always have to put his comments on here. See,
always.
there should be there should be haters. The only haters I see are the part of the establishment because they benefit themselves from these actors. Yeah. I mean, and
Right.
Fortes has been there. I mean, since the Rising Texan days, bro. And man, if you didn't bring it up earlier, like those days, I very rarely remember. I always try to look forward and move forward. But I mean, Fortes, I'm part of his flag football league. This guy's got the toughest flag. I'm sorry, not flag football, fantasy football league in the city. This guy has the best draft. We show up, everything's taken care of. I look forward to his draft. Fortes, I'm taking first this time. I got a third. The first time I went in third place. The second time I got kicked out of the playoffs, but I made it to the playoffs. And this is going to be my third year. And Mr. Fortes is also real good. I'm pretty sure I'll get my third invite. But y'all watch out. I'm coming for that first place, Fortis. I'm coming. Um,
You can't
I,
mess around with that fantasy football, man.
and I do want to talk a little bit about what he said as far as actors. Um, I feel that a lot of people um, fail to realize that in some shape or form, all of us are actors. Right now, we're here doing this podcast. We're doing an act. Um, when you served our country, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I don't mean it in the sense of a Hollywood actor, but you are an actor that plays a role, right? And and all of us are these actors, right? And one of the things that since we're talking about it, that is very important for people to understand is that just like you are the actor, everybody else is. And it does not matter what you're doing currently. If you're not happy at doing that, go and do something that will make you happy. I
Absolutely.
mean, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the acting thing, people forget. I mean, the human attention span is down to ridiculous right now. People do not read. People watch short video content. You have super Instagram users that are being affected by social media. Everything out here right now is a gold mine. Everything out here is ready for the taking, and all we need to do is just figure out who that actor is that you want to be, emulate, execute, and don't look back.
Absolutely. That's some good advice, man. Um, oh, is that the? Oh yeah, that's Mr. Fortes and there's another comment.
Look. 2 years straight, you're the only one for the young 3 years that have made the playoffs every year in the league. Thanks, Fortis, for that little quick shout out. I will be accepting a free entries, free entries into leagues. Fortis just gave me an awesome endorsement right there. We're serious about those, man. And that's that we don't watch enough football games as much as these guys do, but we read and read and read those stat lines.
Oh yeah, I can never get into the nitty gritty of the stats, man. I mean, if you, I actually tried fantasy baseball. Oh my lord, you really got to get into the stats of that stuff. I mean,
Well, that's a weekly thing. I mean, daily thing if you keep it up because of the pitchers. Oh,
oh
I
yeah,
used to be into fantasy baseball. Again, just like how you said, it was just so time consuming. If you want to win, it's time consuming. And the
yeah.
one time that I did win a first place with fantasy baseball, I swear to you, I had no idea what else was going on that year. It's just too many players, too many games, too many strategies that you have to play out. I mean, let's keep it simple. Football is a little bit simpler.
Yeah. And don't get me started on fantasy basketball. I don't
That
even
I
start
haven't
that,
tried.
man.
Since I've gone into that one. Because nowadays you have these sports figures, man. I'll bring this up since you brought up fantasy basketball. There's this. I'm not sure if it's a TikTok or a reel. So you have Kobe Bryant's wife, Vanessa Bryant. After his passing, saying a speech, and she says, and this is how, and I wasn't a big Kobe fan when he was in the league too much. I mean, I respected the man as who he was, Kobe Bryant, and what he could do. But I always thought that, I mean, Jordan was the man, and this
Oh
having,
yeah.
So I'm watching this, like I said, TikTok or reel. You have his wife. I guess they have the eulogy of him and everything, and she's talking, and she says that, about how her husband, no longer with him or whatever, about how he never missed a game. He never missed a game. He was injured. He tried his best, never miss a game. And his wife would ask him, why is that? Like, why don't you just, you're hurt. You could barely play. You could barely shoot. You could barely do this, do that. And his explanation was, for those fans that only get one chance to come and see him play. And that goes back to his upbringing, where he says, I remember my dad bringing me to these games in the nosebleed sections to see my favorite player, and my favorite player would never miss a game. What type of person would I be if I sat down because my ankle hurts, because I have a flu, because I have this, when there's one fan out there that saved their entire, saved their money. A lot of families out here are struggling to go watch a player play. And now you see in the NBA, they take mental health days and what have you, and this and that. And it's, to each their own. I don't want to dive into that just yet, but I was just so shocked and amazed of how this man is, the thought of that, the thought of recognizing and being able to relate at that level with people, shows you that that person is not your typical person. Your typical person is has a lot of callous, and cannot reach that emotional level with a fan, with a friend, with a family member. But this guy thought of something bigger, and I think that that is something that people need to realize, that when you stand for something bigger than yourself, no matter what it may be, I mean, it could be a bigger version of yourself. But when you stand for something that you strive to be, just like in this Kobe story, and the player that he remembers when he was young, that he had to save money, that he saw from the nosebleed seats, was who? Michael Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
And man, every time I run into that TikTok, I watch it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, just back to back, and you, you, you see that emotion, and you see that how, you know forget about what Kobe Bryant, what he did, the inspiration that somebody was able to give somebody to do that. And I think that gets lost. And um, full disclosure, that's where I think that the podcast that I was developing into, or doing so much of, was not something. I mean, yes, I was being transparent. Yes, I was telling everybody what was really going on. But was I hurting people? Was I making people feel bad about what they're doing? Is it worth having to go through some of the stuff? I mean, this is the feedback that I will get. You know what I mean? From, episodes, what have you.
Right.
So you reach a point to where you're on that tightrope, right? You
Yep.
got this big old balancing, like in the trapeze acts.
Yeah.
That stick that helps you balance, keeps your balance. So
No net at the bottom.
exactly. So I think you said it last time. Damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? But the thing is, ultimately, there is a way we can change things, but what approach is it that needs to be executed to get to that goal where we need to be?
Yeah. I
That
mean,
makes sense.
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Michael Jordan, if you've seen I'm sure you've seen the documentary yet on Netflix. There really was no And it's funny because when you talk about Kobe Bryant, it's with Michael Jordan, there was really no issues with having to want to get paid more. He really didn't have to do that. His main objective was to win championships. That's all he want. That's all he thrived on. He didn't care about, like, today. It's crazy how the NBA works and how the NFL works. It's all about the money. It's all about, well, I need to get paid this, then to get paid that. Fans are getting into it. Pay him, like Dak Prescott. Pay him, pay him. It really shouldn't be about that. There'll never be another Kobe Bryant. There'll never be another Michael Jordan. And it's again, those type of players are a dime a dozen. You'll probably never see them again, and it's funny how you mentioned the not being able to see your favorite player, and Kobe, the passion for doing that. My idol was Tim Duncan. I never saw him play. Never got to see him play.
He was a beast. He was a beast.
Yeah, man.
I
I
was fortunate
loved.
to
Yeah.
play several times. My children got to see him play. So
Oh man, I would have loved it, man. Seeing Tim Duncan. I mean, when he was drafted in '97 from Wake Forest, that's what got me into basketball. That's what got me into San Antonio, and I was in California. I was living with full of bunch of Laker fans, and uh, not being able to see him play, which is it hurts. It does. You can feel that, but hopefully we'll get a chance with Wemby. Another supposedly a huge factor in the making. We'll see. Now that I'm here in Texas and San Antonio is just about an hour and a half away, 2 hours, we'll see what happens. But in
well,
your case,
Santonio just got the first round draft lottery pick, and this person is being projected. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Wemby, I
Yeah,
call him Wemby.
Wimby. There you go, Wimby's. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So he's being projected to outperform LeBron James.
Oh yeah,
Now,
absolutely. That's
LeBron James, for what it's worth, he's been in the league fucking forever, and he dominated when he was in high school. I remember they used to play his high school games on ESPN and everything. That's how hyped he was, and for good reason. For good reason.
yeah, yeah.
And but I will say this: LeBron comes a third to Jordan and to Kobe Bryant
Kobe Bryant.
forever, and I would even say maybe a fourth after Tim Duncan, because Tim Duncan, I mean, nothing but respect for Tim Duncan. He could have left that team, could have gotten paid, could have been a Hollywood star. He was the pinnacle of what a team was.
Absolutely, man.
You don't see that nowadays. You don't
No,
see that nowadays.
no, absolutely. And Tim Duncan wouldn't want the fame. He didn't want to be having the Nike commercials. Oh, we got hola. Thanks for tuning in.
Bacon Nation.
Bacon Nation, man, we
Yeah,
got some.
Bacon Nation. They're doing a lot of work.
We got a lot of these interesting names, man. Primates, Bacon Nation. I think there's one called Hedy Lamar. This is this is great. And I actually witnessed some of them say they don't want to use their real name, which is okay. We know you're real. But as I was saying, maybe I don't know.
well, I mean that's the fun part of it, right? Yeah, I mean, I appreciate people joining up, not using their real names. Bacon Nation, I know who it is, so it's not I wouldn't say a fake, right? But
Yeah.
we know that everybody's there carrying two or three different types of Facebooks, different types of Instagrams. Hell, nowadays you got women friends using each other's Instagrams or TikToks and what have you. Nowadays, it's not safe for men like you and I to be out and about, because this women movement and oh man, I don't know if you want to delve into that with.
Which one? The oh.
I'm just talking in general.
I mean, man, I don't know, man. You know
Uh,
what? I mean, I can go on all day about that, man, and it's just and it actually it depends on what movement you're talking about. Like which one are you getting at?
oh
There's a
no,
bunch of them out there.
Oh well, I mean, I understand that there's a bunch of them out there, right? But the whole, the women movement and how this and how that and the way the statistics have shown, and these are statistics, right?
Okay.
Um, that children in a fatherless, I'm sorry, in a motherless home is the same as raising the children with a father and a mother. Where children start taking or start having trouble with, probationary type of stuff, law intervention, school trouble, and all that is with single moms, and that is statistical. I mean, I know a lot of the people that do follow me. I think are 65% women. So I mean, maybe I'm doing a little bit of suicide there myself, right? But I mean, these are facts,
Right.
and it is what it is, and not women bashing in any way. But as we're taking it to that, segueing into there, Bacon Nation wants us to do a little freestyles. Bacon Nation,
You can do it.
don't tempt us. Don't tempt us.
we're trying to be civilized and restrain ourselves here, Bacon Nation. This was a kind of like a documentary for Isaac, and now you want us to start stirring shit up. Come on, man. I just want to let me bank off of that really quick, and you know, the women in our community, again, if when you look at, especially when it's politics or um, you know events or anything that has to go on with Eagle Pass. It's mainly women, man. They got a lot of power out here, and there's just no. You, we're not trying to misconstrue or put down women at all. It's the facts. I have again. I run a comic book club at San Luis Elementary, and we. I've spoken to some of the older children there, the older kids, and man, they're a handful. Hola, Zaida Mainet is. I'm sure she's real. That's a real profile, right? Yeah, well, hey, whatever. As long as we're interacting, that's great. There are kids, and I've talked to them. I've gotten close, and just kind of asked them what their lives are like, or just like what's their favorite kind of music, what's their favorite food, what do they like to do. And the majority of them that are having issues are they don't have a father in their life, and either dad walked out or dad just never wasn't around. It's sad to hear, and I have a stepson who his dad passed away, and he's still I still call him my son. I've raised him since he was 2 years old,
Mm,
and I have to be there for him because he has to. I hardly ever see him because of my divorce, but having a father in his life is something that I wanted to prioritize because I've seen the way he was. He started to change with me not in his life for a good long time, and I'm not saying that mothers don't count because everybody needs a mother. All right, we all need mothers. We all need dads, and it's a balance. You have to have both parents in the house if you want to have some sense of balance in your kid's life. Uh, my son, I divorced and I was a single dad for a little bit. It's again, it's an imbalance without his mom, but it's definitely not the same. Um, it's not the same thing, you know. But I have to play both roles, and that's kind of hard as a dad when you have to play the role of a mom and the role of a dad. It's tough, man. It is hard for me to fill the role of a mom. So I'm admitting that to the public. I can't. I'm. It's just it's hard. So with that being said, when it comes to someone living without their dad, it's definitely different when a mom has to try to play the father. Just not. It's just not. What's the word for it? Uh, it's not plausible. I guess if that's the right word for it. It's
No,
just
I mean, and going off on what you're saying, that's statistics talking. We can say and theorize and come up with whatever we want to say. Statistics are statistics, and that's what they show. And large amount of statistics. I'm sorry, not large amount, but very uneven. Let's put it that way. You're talking
oh
about
yeah,
70, 80, 90% of children that grow up without a father in their home consistently or around consistently. You're talking about they're going to meet some kind of criminal intervention. They're going to get in some type of trouble and stuff like that. And and moving with that, how we were talking, and like I said, um, it's important to recognize and see what's going on in the world, because the world right now, the way it is operating, it is trying to tear down what is the traditional marriage. Well, it's called a, what's the term, nuclear family, or is that, am I using that term wrong?
I don't know. That's new to me.
Okay, I might be using the term wrong, man. I hear so many damn terms, but let's just go back to traditional family, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
of course.
have a father, you have a mother, and the roles are very specific. A father is to lead the family, right? The father is to set the discipline and to set the example for the kid, for the children, and he's there for advice when need be. And you have mothers as well. By no means do I mean they are not important to the
Oh yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, I am just pointing out what the statistics are pointing out. But if they, I think the way society is leading today, and you're talking to a millennial. So I grew up, in high school. I think I got my first cell phone. So
Yeah.
maybe I was a little wet behind the ears, but as I grow, you see our culture is beginning to shift in a way where traditional marriage is no longer valued the way it is. And I'm not here to talk about marriage or talk about anybody's marriage, but the way society is beginning to make a turn, and I think it's cyclic. I think everything is a cycle. I mean, from what kind of haircut is cool today, and from what shoes are cool today. Everybody's wearing those old school Nikes that were cool back in the 70s and 80s and shit, and they're the coolest damn thing since sliced bread now. So I mean, to me, everything's a cycle, right? And this the uprising, the equalization, wanting to have women equal rights. And I understand that. I understand that, and I understand how a topic like that could be controversial as well. But I think that what people do need to realize is that at every turn, they are trying to tear down that traditional family. And it's not a judgment on the way people want to live their lives, but all you got to do is turn on the TV for a little bit and watch these reality shows and watch people how they act out of pocket, out of character, and it's entertaining. It's entertaining. It's funny. But when you have a 10-year-old, 11-year-old impressionable girl watching a show of Jersey Shore where, you have some character, Snooki, taking shots with half her boobs out. I mean, what do you expect of your daughters? You get what I'm saying? And, you
Yeah.
know, I'm not one of those. I'm not saying go dress yourself in a damn bed sheet or anything. We live in the United States of America, right? But I think that with what's going on, social media, what's capable now, It's just making it easier to make the traditional family obsolete. And if you make the traditional family obsolete, we go back to caveman medieval times, in my opinion.
No, yeah, that.
When, I mean, we're going to be fighting it out. We're going to be killing it out. It's not going to be good, because you would think that we've evolved past a certain point. You think we've evolved intelligently to not allow these outside sources control our emotions, which I'm sorry, many people may be upset about it, but TikTok, Reels, Facebook, Twitter, they are designed to play on a person's emotions to grow an addiction to feeling that emotion, which makes you open that app again.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to judge anybody, because people tend to think that, hey, he's saying that, and oh, he's so perfect and this and that. No, my ass opens TikToks and laughs my ass off too,
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm just explaining the self-awareness part of it, is that be careful what you put in your head, in your mind, and what you listen to, because the subconscious is always listening, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And when
And if you get to your subconscious works a lot like an algorithm for these internet. That's a story that I'm trying to tie together, that I haven't found the answer why, but they work alike. In that you like a certain video on a social media, what are you going to get? More of those videos in that social media. Um, you're interested in blue trucks, and you're thinking about blue trucks while you're driving down to go to work. Guess what you're going to see on the way driving to work? Those blue trucks. And uh,
interesting.
yeah, I'm not sure where the ending of that was going to go. But, I guess what I'm trying to say is that our society, it changes, and it's in a cycle. I think we started this topic about kind of the women movement, the equalization. They want to be fair. They want to be equal with us, and that is totally. I get it. I get it. Like, I think I've been called misogynistic plenty of times. Plenty of times.
I
And to me, it doesn't bother me. Not that it doesn't bother me, but I just think that you it's mislabeling. And women, of course, they have a strong role in our community. They have a strong role in our homes, raising our children. Some of them have to work, God bless them. Fathers are not around, like the way we were talking about earlier. So some of them are not. Some moms have to be mom and dad, and it's unfortunate.
right.
Now, I would go back to say again, I'm nobody to judge, but maybe um, some of these women and some of the men. I mean, I guess I'm kind of picking a little bit of more women, because women are a little more complex than men. Men are pretty upfront, pretty straightforward, and a lot of them, you can have them pretty happy with the basics, right? Women are a little more complex, and that's why I enjoy studying and observing, right? But in these days, with the technology available, women have been able to turn around what was once a male dominated sport, which is seeking a partner. That
Yeah.
used to be a male dominated thing, and it's not that anymore. The technology that is being allowed, or not that it's being allowed, or that it's accessible to us now, is what is changing the culture of what we used to have as a traditional family. And the, it's something that's preventable, very preventable. I mean, you have women out here that, for whatever reason, have a relationship, met a guy on social media, boom, they kick it off, this and that. 7, 8 months later, a year later, there's a baby born. Um, the guy's not around, doesn't want to pay child support, doesn't want anything. Okay. So whose fault is that? Now, I know what it is about being a man, but I also know that aren't we on a level playing field now where a woman should be able to, hey, think without their emotions and actually choose somebody that's gonna, you know, support their long-term goals? And that's where I get back to, and I'm bringing this up because I saw, like, a couple of videos on it earlier today, on how social media is transforming the traditional dating atmosphere. Because I mean, I think you're fairly around my age. In my age, it still existed to, ask somebody to go around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like the thing, and now it's like you
Passing
hook
it down.
up and you get it in or whatever, and you could be friends after, you might not. One of you might have been married, one of you might not, one of you might have somebody at home, one of you might not. And just think about how scary that is for your children.
Oh man, that's I'd have to bank on that, and when we talk about um, women equality and equal rights and stuff like that, I'm gonna go back to where I interviewed Miss Sandra Ruiz, and we talked about women empowerment. Women are powerful in their own way.
Mhm.
Men are powerful in their own way. That's where the diversity comes in. You can't really compare the two
Mhm.
until it comes with yeah, you can't. There's no comparison. You can't. Men can't be powerful in a way where a woman can. I mean, and it's just, and
Mhm.
the other way around.
I agree.
Like, there's things that my wife does that I cannot do.
Mhm.
Whether it doesn't have to be with strength. I think people get it very confusing because everyone wants to put strength in. You know, women can be powerful. It doesn't have to be with strength. It could be. It's right up here. Men and women even use a different part of the brain. There's a side that of the brain that women use that we can't, and it's the opposite in general. So I think this is just a lot of misunderstanding, because when we point it out, people get offended, and then it becomes political, and then it's just a big mess, big mess. And when you think about it, it's just, if, for example, uh, I'm going to bring up the military. They A lot of it in the military, a lot of female soldiers wanted to have the same standard as men. But when it came to PT tests, physical training tests that we would have every so often, the female soldiers had a lower standard than the men. It was easier for them to do it. It was just physically impossible for them to be at the same standard as, for combat, as men. When it came to rangers, it was very rare for women to pass ranger school. It would take a very, very, very short few to be able to pass those schools. Um, but the standards are there for a reason. When it comes to physicality, you can't compare. You can't compare. And then I don't want. I know people are gonna get mad at me, and they're gonna go, "Oh, look at this guy." You know, women fight for these kind of things, but when a trans man comes along and plays in women's sports and it's no longer fair, that raises an eye that raises a very controversial eyebrow because but does anybody say anything about it? Man, I don't. That's just eating a big fat spoonful of crow when that happens. You know, I, I would delve more into that, but I can go all night on that, man. It's just it, it's a mess. If you look at different countries, if you were to, I believe I watched this documentary called "What Is a Woman." It was from oh my God, what's his name? Matt Walsh from the
Mhm.
Daily Wire, and he went to Africa. I think it was a different country in Africa, and was asking these tribals, hey, what would you say if I transformed into a woman? And they're just like, what? No, it's just it's just not unheard of. So that's just the state that it's just a bad state that our country is in, and that I people can tell me, well, it's because you're a conservative and you don't see things our way, or or it could be a Democrat versus Republican thing. Again, people always want to turn it into and make it political, but as you said when we first started, it's statistics, man. If I were to label myself a woman and go and play in a women's sports, like how many women are going to dominate? I mean, I'm out of shape, first of all, so I'm not gonna. That's a pretty bad comparison. but if I did get in shape, okay, if I got in shape and I was athletically inclined like I was back in the day, uh, you know, how many women are going to dominate me? It's just statistics, man. It's you know,
Well, see, I mean, and you have a lot of it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, definitely, because I mean, you have males defending women, and then you have women even defending males. There's one I follow on Twitter that, I mean, she makes a lot of sense. I don't agree with everything she does say, but she mentions about how uh, the men are the ones that are uh, not everybody's created equally, even though a constitution says it is. We're just not, and it's
right,
unfortunate, right? But in anywhere you go, in anywhere you go business wise, and it's unfortunate, but most of the industries are male dominated, right?
right,
Okay, so you have a male dominated workplace wherever you go. Females have their very special place. I mean, you know, I strongly believe that. I feel that the situation that where we're at right now empowers women the way you say how empowering women. And, I might catch some flack for saying this, and 65% of the following is women. But, as powerful as you guys can be alone, you're never going to be as powerful as you can be with the right man. I would say that
oh
because
yeah,
there is men out here that, for lack of better terms, are bitches and act exactly like females do. And, I think it's not like, it's just you're this or you're that. Any male can act like that, or any male can act like any way, because it's in our DNA, it's in our genes. That's how we were born. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So you have this world that, unfortunately, the way it's set up and it shows in history, it's not changing anytime soon, obviously, because it's just history. History repeats itself. It's male dominated, all right? So now you're hitting a point where women, like you said, women empowerment. Okay, yeah, you go, girl. Yeah, girl. You go do this, you go do that, and I'm all for women getting intelligent. I mean,
Absolutely.
no, yeah, I'm all for that. But and I've had some private conversations where a strong female, will call out and disrespect a weak male. All right. Now, in those situations, just think about it. That we said people are different, right?
Right.
But whenever I got to thinking about, and they're not, together or nothing like that. It has nothing to do with separate. It was just, separate conversation or what
Yeah.
have you, right? But you have strong female characters calling out the males here at Evil Pass.
Yeah.
And so be it. If you're a strong female and everything, more power to you. Um, you know, but a lot of them don't realize that, how do I say this? And I'm trying to pick my words very carefully. You've noticed.
See what happens, Bacon Nation. We're trying not to freestyle here. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we do need to freestyle. See where it goes. Yeah, no, maybe one day. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that in today's society, with everything that's available, the women are able, and I think are taking power from the male, the males. I think they're dwindling what strength we used to have before as a male, because I think that they know when it comes down to it, a broken male that can be broken by a woman can be broken by anything. And I think that that is what the culture is teaching right now by telling these girls, you don't need him to get you anything. You go get your bag yourself. Which, hey, all good for you. But when you got two little kids, three little kids, you know, looking, because that's what they're doing. They're looking for a role model. Now, I know there are situations where some guys
Yeah.
ain't shit guys. I mean, let's be honest. Y'all know who you are.
They're out there.
Y'all know who you are. You don't know. Y'all are not right. Um, Same thing with the females. Y'all know who you are, right? and 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 that's fine. I mean, everybody deserves the right to be happy. Um, Whatever it is you do, if your happiness is freaking doing that, do that. But my thing has always been, you enjoy your happiness without disrupting someone else's peace, because then that's not happiness, right? So you have this world today where you have, and I think I posted something about it, or made a story about TikTok, how TikTok is now becoming the popular hookup app. Why?
Really?
Because yeah, well, from the sources that I've been getting from, because of the anonymity of the messaging system.
Mm,
So that's there. You have Instagram that is already proven, and these are studies given out from professors, verifiable. You can look them up, about the heavy female Instagram user tends to be narcissistic, Machiavellian. I've seen other podcasts where they interview women, good-looking women, and they will tell you that no matter what guy they get, they won't give up an Instagram. And it's like, what is an Instagram giving you that, in the story I'm saying, let's say a decent male or what have you, like, you see the thinking that is being pushed onto the traditional family and the younger ones, where I don't need a man. I don't need a man. And you know what? And I'll tell you a little tidbit about me is that, I grew up by my mom. So I've seen that, and I've seen the effects of it. Like we talk about the statistics and everything. I am one of those
That
statistics.
experience, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I'm bringing it up is the fact that it's not easy in our times by any means to get your traditional family as it runs because of the movement, the thoughts, the this, and I'm not saying that they are bad by any means. I don't think you've heard me say that in
No, no,
any,
no, no.
but there is a thing, and it's happened, as long as human beings have been around, and it's called a man and a woman creating a family and growing their family. It's not, it has not disappeared is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. I read a tweet the other day. I want to say it was from like Andrew Tate or somebody, and he had his family visiting his great grandma or grandma or like something. So he had about 17, 18 of his family members there, and it was like, you know, that's how my family is as well. They get together, whoever can show up, and this and that, and those are the people that are chosen, so to speak, to grow with you. The theory that uh, the theory that other people are the non-playable characters, the NPCs, and this and that, and you are God, and all this stuff, and that's probably a part four that we got to talk about. But
Yeah.
it's it, I did wanted to touch on that because I know we've been on this. So I'll close it out with that. Is that right now what our society is giving us through apps, through capabilities on our phone, through this. You have messages that you can delete, messages and do this and do that, is just breeding for the turnaround of gender dominance. When, we're in 2023, I mean, 2020 years, I mean, I think the formula was working with everything that we got, available to us. You know what I'm saying? And now everything is being turned around where and it's unfortunate, but sex sells. It sells.
Yeah.
And that's what some of these younger women out there are selling. And women are not selling that necessarily to monetize, but for what women crave the most naturally is attention. So they are seeking attention through false means, through a false, I mean, because it's Instagram, Twitter. I mean, it's a social platform.
Yeah, of course.
Back in the day, how was it when you dated? You actually pick somebody up, take them to go eat somewhere,
Write him a note.
actually talk, and do people still do it now? I haven't heard of anybody going on a date. I mean, all I know is, yeah, I took her, I got it in, this, that. Nah, I haven't called the bitch since.
Yeah, and
I
that's
mean,
unfortunately it's sad, and that's just the way it is. I mean, social media has really changed the world. In it could in I mean, in positive, but in also negative ways. There are things that we used to be able to do back in the day that we cannot do now. For example, uh, you know, when I I lost power in my house for a while. I don't know. We had a power outage. Um, I'm sorry, it wasn't a power outage. I guess Spectrum was down, so I had no internet. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I use my cellular service. Turns out the AT&T towers went down. So I'm just sitting there like, what do I do? I mean, back in the day, I grew up in the age of the wire telephone and
Mhm.
being able to having to use a flashlight to play my Game Boy. You know, and you think like, oh, you know what? I've done that. But we adapt in certain ways to the new technology. I'm just like twiddling my thumbs. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I'm just sitting there like, okay, I have no cable. I can't watch TV. I have no internet. I can't surf the web. I can't check my Facebook. I can't look on TikTok. I can't scroll through all this shit that we all do. So you feel naked, and and
Mhm.
that's insane. That's scary. Like I've experienced it firsthand, and I'm sitting there lecturing my son, like, okay, we shouldn't be on social media all the time. It's gonna poison your mind. Yet here, my mind is poisoned. So I'm just like, oh God, hypocrite city. And so now I tell them, okay, uh, I tell people if we as adults are struggling with this kind of shit, imagine what our kids are gonna struggle with. Our resiliency is supposed to be 10 times, tenfold more than theirs. Can you imagine what's going through the mind of your kid? And I
Mm.
really try really hard to limit his screen time because you have to. You have to, because when you have them on a tablet or a cell phone all day long, hey, kids' brains are sponges.
Yeah.
All right. And when that addiction, again, their resiliency isn't as great as ours, that addiction hits right away. They can't be without. Can you just imagine how we grew up in a time where that wasn't there.
Mhm.
They're growing up in a time where it's there right when they were born.
Yeah.
So for the parents out there that well, give them a tablet, that'll shut them up. No, man, don't do that. It's just that's just giving them a very big weakness, and I can attest to that. And as you were saying with the dating part, like, yeah, nobody goes on dates anymore. It's all swiping left or right on Tinder, or just doing the TikTok thing. It's unnatural. It's unnatural, and people get mad when we say these things. Like, it's unnatural when a traditional family gets torn apart, and people say, "Well, we don't need a traditional family." It's just it's unnatural, and people want to think that we're just kind of spewing our stuff onto them. And hey, like we said, if that's something that you want to do, and hey, more power to you. If you want to be that type of person where, hey, I don't need no woman or I don't need no man, okay, cool. But not everybody can adapt like you. I mean, this traditional family has been around for centuries. That I mean, if we want to bring religion into it, that's what God's plan was to create families. If you want to get political about it, hey, having families was very important, especially if you wanted to contribute to the community and to the economy. That was America's plan: is a bigger families, bigger economy. And that's just now our kids are learning totally the opposite. Uh, Drag shows in schools. Uh, it's just That's crazy. It's crazy. And if people want to say this is a Democrat or Republican thing, think twice, man. Because my mom is a hardcore Democrat, but you know what? She knew the importance of a traditional family. She knows the importance of keeping a father in the kids' lives, and I think that goes the same for as a Latino community. We're a border town. That with the closer to the border you get, the more traditional things get. It's crazy. And we live in a society where we can't do without, and it's sad. It's sad. You think about the old Western days. People shoot when women were trying to do ranching on their own. People thought it was ridiculous, but at the same time, it sometimes it needed to happen, and it just kind of conflicted with people's beliefs a little bit. It was the frontier, and women had to pick up a rifle and know how to load it. Women had to know how to rustle up the cattle, because some of the men wouldn't even be home. So you can I'll help you close out with the topic. It's uh you know again, I'll say it again. There are things that women can do that men can't. There are things men can do that women can't. Have you ever watched Chris Rock's Netflix special where he put out, women with their beauty can stop traffic.
Mhm.
Men, you ain't gonna stop traffic. Even if you're dead on the sidewalk, they're gonna walk around your dead ass, and you ain't gonna stop traffic. But a woman of beauty, I mean, that's as powerful gets. It's everyone's powerful in their own way, and that's something that we all need to accept, that we're different. We're different, and that's why we mesh well together. That's why families are able to be traditional. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
yeah, man. So I mean, it is what it is. But let's see how it's. Oh, we've already hit an hour and 30. I didn't even know that, man. I was just we
Time
got
flies.
so yeah, we got so deep into it. That's crazy. I think one of the questions that I did have, if anybody's just joining us, I know we have a few viewers, but I know that as it's Sunday, people got to work tomorrow and there's school tomorrow. But I know that people are going to be watching. This is the RuizBeast podcast, and I'm your special guest host, Ruben Camarillo. I'm from the Now You Know Eagle Pass podcast, and we're here interviewing Mr. Isaac Ruiz on his own show, and we're just kind of delving into the history and what made him come to be. And apparently, he's asking me to make him uncomfortable, so I'm gonna I'm gonna do my best not to make you uncomfortable, but I'm gonna try to make those questions, try to delve into those juicy questions that we've all been waiting for. So let's delve into this really quick. One of the topics I had in mind, uh, you know, you've all right. So you've already been through, the experiences with some of our past political figures and some of our current ones. Um, I think one of the things I wanted to get at was, how did you became a public figure. You started the Maverick Times, and you did what was used to be called the Rising Texan podcast. I remember we talked about sponsorships.
Mhm.
um, and I remember you told me that this kind of business that you got into, which was, I'm just going to say it, telling the truth, lost you some sponsors. I mean, was that because of pettiness from, some of the figures that you decided to tell the truth on, or was this out of fear? Tell us a little about
Um,
that.
I think that in a small community like Eagle Pass, there is more connections between people. Um, I can only give you what I heard. I don't know whether it's true or not. Um, I've heard people say that there's certain people lobbying for me not to get, another job. I've heard there's people lobbying like not to sponsor, hey, why are you sponsoring him? And and sponsor money eventually. I'm not gonna say all of it because there's been some that are still there, and I thank you. I mean, I don't mention them because I don't want to get any problems with them. But if you see my page, I mean, I give them their money's worth of business, of course. But absolutely, I mean, in the very beginning, if you remember the rising Texan numbers, these interviews would reach 40, 50 viewers at any given podcast, and and it's a little late. We got 7 viewers, which is still good
Yeah,
across all platforms. But before we used to hit, 50 on a regular basis just on Facebook alone. So I think that not only that hurt. I did lose sponsors, but it wasn't just because of whatever reason. It was also because of Facebook not showing my things, because I did lose a lot of pages, and that obviously did hurt. But just like with the TikTok, right? But if you look for us, we're still back up and running, and it can't keep us down for too long.
Yeah, what what I've been watching on TikTok too. I don't. Maybe it's just me. I don't see anything that's you've posted anything offensive or anything. Could you have any idea what that could be or why? Like,
Posted a what?
Facebook.
What was that?
Like, when you have, I've watched it on TikTok, the Maverick Times before it got taken off, and what do you think could be the problem? I don't see you posting any explicit content. I don't on Facebook as well. I don't. I know I've seen we've had some ranty videos from Isaac, and those were pretty fun to watch and informative. But I really didn't see anything that would get you kicked off Facebook. So what do you think that you know could be? Is
I mean, I don't know for sure. I can give you my best theory. My best theory is that there is obviously guidelines for these communities, and whenever you do pass one of those guidelines, I mean, people have the right to report it, and I think that's what's going on more than anything. I
okay.
don't want to say it's targeted reporting. I hope not. But whether it is or not, it doesn't bother me. I mean, if y'all want to waste your time in reporting, excuse me, my profile, knock it down. I mean, I think I've showed a pretty good history of the next thing I'll do once it gets knocked down is just create another
To
one.
make
So
another one, yeah. It's that
yeah,
easy.
I know. I know. I heard rumors of two certain politicians that had knocked down my original the Rising Texan podcast. Uh, so a friend of mine had mentioned that he overheard a specific two, and how they were able to do it. Not details, but they spoke about it. Now, whether that's true or not, I can't say, man. I hear stories all the time. I hear reports all the time. Some of the reports, like I said, I don't just shoot them out from the beginning, because there's a lot of people that do have, reasons to do something. So I have to be careful with what I do, especially after the situation with the lawsuit. I learned a lot going through that. So I mean, that's a positive. I want to thank him for putting me through that, because hell, I learned so much. I feel like a little attorney myself now when it comes to it. But no, man. I mean, basically, that's what it is. It's people reporting, uh, and it's not necessarily anybody from here. It could be somebody from somewhere else. I know we had exclusive text messages of the shootings that were going to happen. The kids were passing around. I'm not sure if that probably was one of the things that triggered for it to be. If it was something that triggered a community guideline issue. But it's that, man. It's people reporting it. Like I said, I can't say it's local. I can't say who it is or what. But I don't mind. Go ahead and keep on reporting, and we'll keep on creating. Right?
That's all you got to do, And I shoot, I'm nothing new to that. I've seen plenty. It's easy. You just create another account. It's not. Again, if people want to hate and waste their time and do that, hey, more power to you. But yeah, that's just you know, you look at this community and one of the things I've learned being trying to be a politician or not a politician, but trying to run for office, it's a lot of fear. I've experienced a lot of people afraid to talk to me,
Mm.
afraid to be even seen talking to me. I still experience that. And I'm not going to mention who because I know who they are. I'm not going to mention who they are. I don't want to put their names on blast. But I do know that there are a couple people that just, I see them. They comment on my posts. They like my stuff. But as soon as I show up to an event, because that's what being a public figure is all about, is you want to try to support the community as best you can. Uh, they won't look your way, and that's sad. It's very sad because I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice person. I try to support. If you look at my shirt, the Eloy Perales third annual bikeathon was created by the Maverick County Democrats and Miss Juanita Martinez. Um, I'm still gonna go and support because I know my family or my wife's family was very good friends with Mr. Perales, and he was a very big public figure, so that's why I was there to support. And oh, nice, nice, yeah, exactly. Yeah, this podcast does need to be boosted. Thanks, primates. Um, and like I said, I've seen a lot when I go. You can feel kind of tension though. You see people that you do want to talk to, but you can't just go up and say hi because you're going to make them feel awkward and they don't want to be seen talking with you. It needs to change. That really needs to change. I am not afraid to talk to anybody. If whether you're a Democrat or whether you're on a different side of religion or what, we need to get out of that. And it's sad. And so, but like I said, you don't know who's reporting you or people are afraid, oh well, let's just bag on Isaac for telling the truth and let's just screw up his page and damn that man, let's just take down his page and report him and we'll get him. It's just everybody should be able to speak freely. Everybody should be able to have their beliefs and be a Democrat or be a Republican and still you know be on the opposite side, but still be friends or be able to talk to each other. That's something I really do want to change. Hopefully, doing this podcast and because I think I heard somebody say, "Damn, that Mr. Camarillo is everywhere." Yeah. I mean, again, I took the advice of our county judge. You want to be a public figure, you got to be everywhere, and that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to spread peace throughout the community. You know, doesn't matter what your beliefs are. I'm going to boost your business. All right. If you're a Democrat who owns a restaurant and I'm a conservative, I'm going to boost your business. Uh, your beliefs have nothing to do with mine. It's not going to hurt me. I mean, we have different beliefs, and that's okay. So that just needs to change. And like with the whole reporting thing, that's just very cowardice. If you don't. If they say if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. But if you, in this case scenario, if you have a problem with somebody, you really should address it and speak to them in person. And that falls in line with the last topic we had. You know,
Yeah.
it's it's just now people want to do it through social media instead of confronting somebody and saying, "Hey, I have a problem." Because now you can't do that anymore. You have a problem with somebody, you gotta email them, but then when you see them out in the street, you don't say nothing. It's just power of technology, man. So
That's how it is now. That's what I'm saying. Everything's changing.
yeah, but moving forward, so we touched bases on the sponsorship, and you know what? You have about 4.3 thousand viewers compared to my little 180. What How did you come about to what I'm trying to find the right way to say this. What inspired you to be able to do um, this platform of yours? I mean, you're everybody sees your podcasts. Whether they report you or whether they don't like you, they're still watching. And I know because people have came and talked to me and saying, "Hey, I saw you on Isaac's podcast the other day."
Really?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. When I was at the luncheon, I had a couple of people come, "Hey, yeah, I saw you on Isaac's podcast the other day." Da 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 da. We just kind of talk about it, and People watch you, man.
Uh,
Yeah, you're
Now I
being
feel
watched. So
special.
what's that?
I said, now you make me feel special.
Yeah. So and they might be people that particularly don't want to say anything to you. So, but hey, haters are gonna hate, but they're still watching you, man. So hey, pat yourself on the back for that one. But yeah, what really what what really inspired you to do this kind of thing? And what is there anything that you would change?
Not anything I would change, and I wouldn't change anything because I know there was mistakes done along in the process and failures as well. And I'm a strong believer that through those failures, through those, hey, mistakes, whatever, I think that's where the evolution comes. And I think that people that have been following for since the rising Texan days and all that can appreciate the fact that they saw one thing at one time and then one in another. Um, but the main thing, honestly, and the reason why I even started to do podcasts, man, to be honest with you, it was something that um, during the COVID era, this and that, most of us stayed at home with our kids and everything, and it was my daughter who really wanted, because I wanted to try it out, see what happens, because I think that during that time is when it really got popular to have a podcast or do a podcast or, because what what else was everybody doing, right? And in COVID, a lot of people had to stay home, and so in those times, a lot of people they struggled to make money, and we had to, find other means as a family, do this, do that, do the other. And I would always find myself in a place of, I guess, survival to where I was not able, I would tell, and it kills me to this day. I would tell my daughter, no, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it another day. We'll try it another day, or let me set this up first, or let me do this and let me do that, and things like that. And you know, you the saying is true. What they say that do you never know what you have until it's not there, right? And some unfortunate things did happen, and you know, it is what it is. But as I wasn't there for my daughter every single day as I was before. It was just a thing that ended up kind of like I guess I did it for her. You know, I learned how to do, and I'm not an expert or anything, but every time before I get on a podcast, and I've told her this is that it's because of you. It's because my oldest daughter, Chloe. She's 11 years old. She's a fifth grader, and and I still have those memories, and I can feel the emotion still right now of when I'm working on the computer because that's what I do. I'm trying to figure things out, do this, do that, do what needs to be done, and I have my daughter coming in. Hey, Dad, or can we do our podcast today? And it's like, yeah, it's because I have this, I have that, I have and it's unfortunate, I never got the chance to do that podcast with her, and eventually we will. But that is the reason. I mean, if it was not for my daughter Chloe Alexandra Reese, I probably would not have even paid attention to podcasting, to anything. It was always her eagerness, wanting to, I guess basically do something with her dad. Not necessarily just the podcasting, but I think that that's where, not that I think, I know that's why I do podcasts today, because of all those times that my daughter wanted to do them with me when she was younger. And I was just always busy with either work or doing this or trying to do that. Like I said, stuck in survival mode, which most of us are. And when we are stuck in that survival mode, life passes us by. And, ever since from then, it's been like, this podcast is for you. Like, and I've told her this, and I go, the only reason dad does any of this is because of you. Is because of you. And I'll be honest about that. I probably wouldn't be doing them right now. I'd probably be home doing something else. Uh, Maybe doing the news, or I don't know. But if it wasn't for my little girl Chloe, every single day, even though I regret the answers of, oh mihan, no, we don't have it set up yet, and no, I haven't set it up yet, and that comes back to bite you when they get a little older.
Oh yeah.
That this here is not necessarily about everything that I do with it, but it also has that string in there, and that's the reason why I do these. Is her. It was her, and when I did not have her around me every day asking me, it was like, I'm gonna just start making them, and I hope she sees them. And she says she's down to come on with one with me soon, so hopefully you'll be seeing us, and that's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'd be looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
gonna be an interesting one.
Awesome. And I have to agree with you on that. It will come to bite you in the ass. If you have your child very interested in something and is trying to get you interested, and then you get interested and then they're no longer interested anymore. Then you're just like, damn. So like with my kid, I'm always like, when it comes to, and there's not a lot of, that's why when I run this comic book club, a lot of kids appreciate it because I listen to my kid, and when he talks about, I got to stay interested in some of the stuff that he's interested in, because then later it's like you missed out on something that probably should have paid attention to. But a lot of the beauty of it though is a lot of the things that he's interested in are the things that I was interested in back when I was a kid, like Star Wars and Pokemon cards, and I was never into Minecraft. That was something new, and he always wants to play Minecraft. I'm just like, I I hate my I hate Minecraft, but I will I know everything about Minecraft because I play with my son, and I do what I can to keep up to date, and that's really awesome that that your little girl is into the podcasting and you did that for her, and that's a great influence. Um, one of the let's see, one of the other topics I wanted to get to, and it looks like we're almost going to hit the 2 hour mark, so we'll get this one underway, and then I guess we'll close if that's okay with you, and we'll
That's fine.
continue with a part four.
Well,
You
yeah.
know, it's like your life is a chapter book,
I
and
should, I, I
and
should, I should have recorded this, man. Transcript this.
yeah, but well, you can still record it, or I mean, it's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be live.
it's Xavier, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be saved.
Book it. There you go.
Yeah. So
Somebody will.
um, so let's talk about, and I know it's funny because people are like, you and I talk. We text each other back and forth sometimes, and People when I was running, people are like, you're just Isaac's friend. That's why he's paid giving you advertisement." Like, shut up. I paid him to do advertisement. All right. But I have
As
shared.
other,
What's that?
I said the advertisement as other candidates did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I didn't go up to my opponent and be like, "Hey, are you stealing my friend? He's he's posting political ads about you. What are you doing?" Or I didn't come up to me, "Hey, why are you posting political ads about him?" Anyways, um, so shoot, you know what? Oh my god, I just went blank on my question. I never do that. Um, okay, so we've talked about problems at work. Now we know that you've told me before that you started working with another company, and you got a management position, and people are still tugging your nuts right now, trying to get you fired. Uh, what I mean, what the hell? Like, is that people still being petty? Is it something that you said before? Because I know we went on a couple of rants, and then people are just trying to screw you all over the place. What's going on with that? And what would your message to these people be? I'm curious, man, because that's just screwed up.
Well, I mean, with the most recent one, I mean, my message is you didn't succeed.
That's what we
um,
want to hear. That's what we want to hear.
and I honestly I can't tell you and sit here and say it's this person. Um, I have an idea. I mean, I don't know what person would say comments alluding to, there's a bunch of people about to leave a company for just because of the way I'm saying things and stuff like that. And the great thing about that was that it wasn't an issue. I mean, yes, it was an issue, but it wasn't anything I was reprimanded for, and I'm grateful for that.
That's good. Good to hear.
Um, but I just was kind of in awe that thinking that, hey, this thing is not just gonna go away, right? Um, I feel that a journalist or anybody that considers him a journalist that is doing, you know, something not with an evil intent in it. I mean, I think you are with every right to report things, and that's all what we were trying to do is report things. Whether some people may think it's biased or not, I mean, or geared to only one side. I mean, maybe that is the only side doing stuff that I'm seeing, It wasn't, I know a lot, I got a lot of critics saying that, you're just covering one damn person and this and that. And I go, well, it's not, you know, that I'm just covering one person. It's just that this one person's everywhere. These things are happening and I'm raising that question. And, um, yeah, I mean, there was deliberate attempt to what I feel is get rid of me from my job that feeds my family and feeds my kids. Um, you know, and like I said, it nothing came from it. I explained to them, there's some sort of rivalry still on on the other side of things, and they were, I don't want to say understandable. They're just asked me to kind of publicly cut ties with the company. In other words, not put anything about them anymore or anything. And what I said is that, I am not going to advertise y'all, put y'all, even say that I work with y'all anymore. I left a little bit upset. I feel that I should have been defended a little bit more by my company. I wasn't, and I mean, I was. I'm not going to say I wasn't.
But you're still with them, right?
I just don't. The malice with what that was done is something that not even I would stoop that low. You know what I mean? If you're a guy, and whether you're doing something right, wrong, or whatever, I mean, if you're providing and you're trying to do, this for your family, I wouldn't go and try to, ruin that for you. I mean, unless you're, a serial killer hiding bodies, or, you get what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
That's
not gonna be trying to cost you your job. That's just not me. And could have I, with some of the things that were going on? I mean, maybe. Um, just with the elections going on, you had a heavy throwing out of accusations from one of in your race. You weren't involved, but one of the candidates throwing kind of, things at the other one that maybe if we were in a different district, maybe that could have cost him his job. And I'm not judging, whether it was right, wrong, or the other, but it's like it kind of feels like it's a never ending type of thing. And I think that's why whenever we spoke about it, I don't know if it was in the last one or the one before, where, I kind of just say, I mean, we need to get past it, because if we're just attacking one another, tit for tat, back and forth, whoever it is, I mean, honestly, I don't know who it is. And if we just continue on doing as such, it's just going to bitter our community more and turn our community into something that it's not. Because there is bitter rivalries, and nothing good comes from that, because there's a lot of people that get caught in the crosshairs of those political things. And it's unfortunate it happens. I always thought when I first started that that's what I wanted to end. And again, things evolve, things shift, things change. And we're at a point right now where, you know maybe a different approach of certain things, or delivery of certain things, may be in order. Because I mean, there's no use of wasting time in a project that is not going to give you anything back, right? That's just,
absolutely.
I mean, it's just not. So I use the quote a lot from a song that I heard. If business isn't booming, then it's time to change the format. And it's just straight out playing how it is. If the business ain't performing, it's time to change the format. I'm not saying that we're changing who we are, because we are who we are the past 38 years, right? But um, maybe a little bit of mix here and there now, something a little more positive when we could be positive. And just try to kind of, through these interviews, I appreciate you hosting. And because a lot of people get perceptions not necessarily from meeting the person at hand, and I've gotten that a lot, where people are like, wow, like I didn't picture you like the way you are. And I was like, I mean,
You never asked. You never
yeah,
asked.
I mean, I'm one of those guys. I get approached a lot from people, and they're like, "Oh, you're, Isaac, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, and this and that." And sometimes whenever doubt creeps in, and I get just a random person telling me this, it's like, wow, people are responding. There is people out there, and like how you
Yeah.
told me, there's people watching. And I have other friends, as well, that'll call me and tell me like, no, because you did this and that and the other. And on my end, it it doesn't seem like I'm making too much, to be honest. And and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because honestly, like I said, this podcast started not, you know, to bring equal past what I'm doing now, but it started with having a father daughter podcast. So it's one of those things where, you know, I like doing it, and I think it fits natural because of the way I could talk for days. So it's a natural fit. But I mean, ultimately, you know, if it wasn't for my little girl Chloe and my oldest, there wouldn't be. You know, here's another one. Let me just before we go,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
the Reese Beast name was actually given to her first.
Oh wow.
So she used to do cheerleading. She used to do tumbling. Her coach, I can't remember his name, was the one who called her Chloe Reese Beast.
Oh
And
wow.
you know, that kind of stuck, that kind of stuck, that kind of stuck. And when I was thinking we need to change up the brand, and I wanted a brand to where my kids can still push a brand if they so choose to. And what better one than, you know, Ruiz Beast? And like I said, it's to me, I try to look at coincidences, and I think that that's the way, you know, divine power, divine source, that's the way they speak to you. You know, most of us miss it, just completely miss the damn thing. But every once in a while, you'll see it, and it comes full circle to where, you know, it's my little girl is the reason I do this, and she's the one, you know, that did the Reese Beast. Like they called her Reese Beast first, and now I'm over here telling her, okay, we're trademarking this. If you create a social, you're going to be Chloe Reese Beast, and all my little. You get what I'm saying? That there's a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
to what I'm doing, but that's just something that I remembered right now. That, you know, she even gave the name Ruiz Beast. That's what my little girl contributed to as
That's awesome.
well. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's like your little girl contributed to the new brand. You know, the past. It's something that you've done and that you've learned from, and now something's growing, and you know, because of your child. So that's a great inspiration, man. And that's I gotta say, yeah. I mean, that's people should really take note of that. You know, and oh, I don't know if you want to post Mr. Primate's comment. I think he had a really good. I mean, definitely a good point there. Um, you know, it says no one should call someone's place of employment just because they hate someone's point of view. Uh, thank you, sir. That's or sir or ma'am. We don't know. Uh, that's a really good point. Uh, you know, are you really going to stoop that low to trash someone's job? Uh,
mm, and you know what? I mean, I get it. I get it. I really do. I'm not. Of course, initially I was upset about it, you know, because that affects my family immediately, right? That's the first thing right off
oh
the bat.
yeah, absolutely.
But you know, I when people are upset about certain things and they don't know how to control their emotions, they just go out and do things. And whether the things they do are right or wrong, when things are done under the heat of emotion, we tend to not make the best decisions. And you know, I'm not here trying to sit and lecture and say, you know, hey, I'm the one, this, that, or the other. But the the thing that is should be known moving forward is that doing little things like that is not bringing anybody good. You know, I could have, you know, gone and say do a whole show on that, and I wasn't even going to talk about it. The reason why I'm answering is because you asked me about it. I don't think I brought it up publicly, and
No,
I
yeah.
wasn't going to, but since you asked, and like I said, I'm not here to hide or anything. But the thing is that it was done, and I think it shows. Uh, I don't want to say the level of emotional intelligence of the person, but it just shows how easily they can be bothered. And the thing is that it's not that important to want to cost somebody their jobs. I know there was concerns about that, and there's always been concerns about that when it comes with the political races, and all that. And I disagree with what they did in trying to call and trying to do what they did. I disagree with that. That's not an approach I would have taken. But that's, I think, a testament of how bad the situation has gotten, right? Between that rivalry or what have you. But, I'm not upset about it anymore. I don't hold a grudge on it. And, hopefully, whoever it was, because I don't know, they didn't tell me who, but hopefully they can get past it. I mean, I'm out here just trying to make some money for the family, take care of my family, trying to do what I feel is the right thing because, like I said before on the show, since I was a little kid, that's all I've ever had in my head, man. I mean, some people want to grow up, be Superman, be Batman, when they're young kids. And some of us still think that we're Superman and Batman once we get older, right? But
Yeah.
it's just that simple, man. I'm not upset about it. Do I think it was a cheap shot? Probably. Would I do it? No. But whether I'm upset about it, I'm not. I mean, when people can't get to you, they'll try any means. When they see that they cannot attack you personally, which I think I've shown that people taking shots constantly. And I go back to an old Tupac line: five shots couldn't drop me, and I took it and smiled. Now I'm back to set the record straight. I mean, man, I've had everything done to me. Y'all have done everything to me. From outside of, from inside of the camp, outside of my camp. Inside my walls, outside my walls. Everything that possibly can happen to a human being at my young age is happened to them. There's very few things, right? And my advice for anybody, if you don't like me or want to keep on, trying to tear my page down, anything like that, let's make a podcast about it. We'll talk about it. You convince me to turn off my podcast and stop doing podcasts. If you can do that, if anybody can do that, come on live, convince me, and convince me that what I did, what I'm doing is wrong. And if they can convince me to stop doing it, I'll stop doing it. But they're going to have a very hard time going against Chloe Alexander Ruiz. I'll tell you that much.
Are you related to Chloe or?
Oh, that's Chloe's my daughter. Sorry, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Chloe's my 11-year-old daughter. Yes, that's
So
the one.
so that's the one I've been seeing posting. That's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the.
I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, but yeah, my oldest, that's her, Chloe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, because she's posted on some of my campaign ads and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
man, she's 11 years old. I didn't even know. I
Yeah,
mean,
she's a fifth grader.
I mean, did she have a profile picture? Because I think it was a blank profile picture. Unless I'm talking about a different Chloe.
No, no, no. I think you are. I think you are.
Okay.
I yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're talking about somebody different.
Okay. It was someone named Chloe Rodriguez. I know I see her
Yes,
posting on all the
yes.
time,
I know she's a regular follower. Her. I wish I knew who she was because she hits on a lot of points.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would question whether that is an actual real name, but I mean, shout out to that Chloe Rodriguez, right? Or
Yeah, Rodriguez. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, she happens to know, or he happens to know a lot of information, and uh, I've had people say that it's me hidden, but I cannot run a live. I cannot run a live, answer my own, and be logged in another one answering, throwing those out. So we'll dispel that. I am not Chloe Rodriguez, and my daughter Chloe Alexandra. She's the reason why we keep doing this podcast. But
Awesome, man.
again, we're open to anybody that wants to come on live. It has to be a live. Let's do that,
Yeah.
and then convince me otherwise. And
And
then
don't
you
worry. And
can.
don't worry if you come on live and you disagree. No, we're not gonna go after your job. We're not gonna,
Oh no, of course.
we're not gonna shun you or anything like that. Just you can come on to. I'd advise anybody, even on my podcast, if you disagree with, you can come on live and we'll talk about it. That's what we do, man. We're podcasters. We want to have this kind of thing and welcome people on the opposite side. Why not? I mean, we can't just keep having people that agree with us come on. I mean, that's no fun.
No.
So yeah, but I would love to see that. And before we close, I just want to kind of bank off of what you said. Going after people's jobs, and especially when it's such a petty reason, that's just uncalled for, man. And we do have emotions. We get emotional about things, and sometimes we can't control. Like, I mean, for example, and I'm gonna do a piece. I've just been really trying to set it up. I'm gonna do a live and break down the I know it's old news, but the press conference with the superintendent. Just gonna kind of break down on what he said and just kind of put my opinion in on it. But when I first heard it, I was super upset. I was just like, "Oh my god, this dude needs to fucking resign." I don't give a shit. And then I kind of thought about it, and when I posted the advertisement, I changed it up a little bit, and I said some shit I probably shouldn't have. Nothing that's too offensive, but it was really emotional, and I'm really trying to get out of that emotional state. So, I mean, I'm a parent, and I think I was just super upset when I heard all that, just making things political. But then I took a deep breath. I said, okay, let's get professional about this. Okay, I'm gonna change the advertisement because I took out a big chunk of it. I had a huge chunk, and I just took it out. And just not try to get the man fired, but just kind of break down on why parents are upset. This is the things that he said. This is why parents are upset. This is why a certain Republican faction is upset, and then move on. You know, uh, and whether people think he needs to resign, well, that's up to the public. I'm just going to put my opinion on it, and that's that. Not go after his job and try to and just start a political movement, try to get the man fired. That's I
Yeah.
mean that's on
Uh,
him. But I mean, I don't know. I know you posted something about the Texas state law about advertising, or was it? It was the I believe it was the Maverick Times that posted that about advert. Is it a state law that you can't advertise?
yeah. Well, you're not supposed to be having any issues or speak about, especially when you're a public figure like that, because he's representing the school district. So
Exactly. Yeah.
whenever you're representing a school district like that, you are not supposed to talk about political parties, political affiliations, or dove into either side of the political arena. You're supposed to keep everything apolitical. Um, that's not what we heard. We heard, the superintendent saying, "We need you to go out and vote against this."
Yeah.
certain type of party. And to me, I think that I understand his frustration about it, but I mean, he's a superintendent that gets paid a lot of money, that should know what he could say and what he cannot say in public. And that right there, I think, holds a fine and a classy misdemeanor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
And
classy.
it happens a lot of times here in Eagle Pass. And not many people will call it out or say it or anything, and for obvious reasons. But you know, it's not. Let's just do better. Let's do better. Let's do better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I don't have any problem. Again, I'm gonna go live and just kind of break down and just let the public decide what they think about it. Because I already put out what I thought about it, and I thought, okay, if you're gonna do this public figure thing, you should probably turn it down a notch a little bit, and as I mean not. I mean that's not my nature, It's not I'm trying really hard, but it comes down to I volunteer in the school district, and I do a comic book club now. Whether he wants to get mad and not let me do that anymore or try to pull funding from it, well, you're not taking anything away from me. You're just taking away from the kids. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do that. But uh, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Do better, like you said. The next press conference, don't bring politics into it, and we'll be fine. Just
Absolutely.
yeah, make your money, represent the students, represent the kids, like you say you do. Like you once told me after he shook my hand, and we'll that'll be another story for another time. But yeah, you represent the kids. Just stick to that, man. Don't make this political. We already have enough of that shit around here. We don't need to bring that into the school district, man. But yeah. But anyways, we hit 2 hours and 16 minutes. This is the RuizBeast podcast. I am your guest host, Ruben Camarillo from Now You Know Eagle Pass. We had a lot to talk about. If you guys missed it, you guys can scroll on through and we talked about some more of the history. We've had a heated discussion on traditional families, and then we went ahead and made Mr. Ruiz uncomfortable. I think probably not, and asked a little bit about his experiences going on with people taking down his past podcast and trying to mess with his job. That's just something that we all need to change, especially when if we disagree with somebody, as Mr. Primate said, don't go after someone's job. Go to them personally, send them a message, say I don't agree with you, and we can just leave it at that. And if you have a problem that's support, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you said anything that's hurting anybody or that's going to cost them their job. But I mean, and if it is going to cost them their job, then they're doing something wrong because I don't know. Uh, because
Yeah.
all we do is speak the truth. We're I'm really happy to join this uh, this very few number of podcasters that just want to tell the truth and tell it like it is. And if people don't like it, well, you know what? I don't have a job for you to come after. So uh, I mean, go for it. I mean, what are you going to do to me? Are you going to go to the VA and take away my benefits? I don't think so, man. So, or are you going to go to my school and tell them not to give me a degree? No, I don't think so. But again, thanks for this. There is a part four. This is part three, right? Part three.
Hmm.
Okay, and then we got a part four coming, of course, and we'll have some more discussions about as the time goes by with what the community is going on, and or what's going on in the community, and then we'll touch more bases on you, sir. Anything else you want to say to the audience? I know there's a few audience, but when you reach 200-300 views later, do you have anything you want to say to anybody that would be potentially watching?
Just have a good day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. Let's start our week in a strong, positive note. You are the master of your reality, and make sure you create the reality you want with the thoughts that you have every morning. Every morning is very important. Having a morning routine is very important. Be sure you wake up. You know, be thankful that you're able to wake up. Not many people do after they take a sleep a nap. And one thing I would say, I challenge everybody: as soon as you wake up, say one good thing about yourself. One good thing about yourself that you like, and then take it from there. Try doing that for a week or so. Change it up if you want, different things or the same thing. And you could be imagine how much you can change your life, for the best when you start focusing on one thing. And you can start with saying something positive about yourself every morning. That's all I got.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for the closeout. And if anybody wants to catch the RuizBeast podcast, please like and share this video. Follow him. Send him a message. He loves to interact. Don't be shy. There's people who are approachable who are not. You can always follow me as well on Now You Know Eagle Pass. It's Ruben Camarillo. My main page is back up and running, so you'll see that gray face with the microphone at his mouth, with the suit and a Cobra Kai T-shirt on. Uh, you know, follow me if you guys want, and we have some good content coming up. I will be discussing. I know it's old news. I've just been, trying to come up with the new software and coming up with some bits and pieces on breaking down the comments and the press conference that happened 4 days ago with the school district. You don't want to miss that. Catch it later, guys, and it'll be some good stuff. I promise. And that's it for me. That's it for Mr. Reese. We will keep you posted on the next, or we'll just throw another live out there, and you guys will just. I'm sure you'll see it. You'll see when we do it. Don't
Yeah.
worry. All right, everybody. Well, hey Isaac, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me on again. Of course, we're looking forward to part 4. All you gotta do is send me a text and be like, "Hey, plans?" Question mark. I'll be there, man. So
Appreciate that.
all right, brother. You can
All
take it easy, guys. Everybody, take it easy. You guys have a good Monday. Wipe that Garfield face off if you have the case of the Mondays. We
right.
will we will see you again. All
Yep.
right. Take
All
it
right.
easy, Isaac.
Take it easy.
All right, brother.